The day is ending. A slow, golden light stretches across the plains of Anatolia, painting the hills in tones of amber and soft shadow. The road, worn smooth by centuries of travelers, wends its way through a landscape both vast and intimate. Wide horizons of stone and scrub, and the occasional lone tree standing against the fading sun. You are one among many tonight. A caravan moves slowly along the dusty path. The soft thud of hooves marks a rhythm, a steady heartbeat of journey and endurance. Camels sway with their long, patient steps. Horses flick their tails, while the faint jingle of harness and chain echoes like distant chimes in the open air. The travelers are wary. Their robes, once bright in the morning sun, are now muted by dust. But with each mile, a sense of relief grows stronger. For ahead, rising like a guardian from the earth, is the outline of a caravanserai. Its walls, thick and unyielding, catch the last glow of the sunset. Tall and square, they stand like an island of safety in the vast wilderness of road and sky. You slow your steps as the caravan draws near. The sight of the inn after such a long journey is almost a dream, a promise of rest, of water, of shelter from the night. Children, perched on donkeys, point toward the rising silhouette. Merchants straighten their backs, their voices low but warmed with relief. The caravanserai is close now, its grand gate waiting like an open hand. The air shifts as the sun slips lower. A coolness spreads, replacing the dry heat of the day. Shadows lengthen, and the distant call of a bird marks the final song of daylight. Soon, only the glow of lanterns and the silver of the moon will guide the way. You walk with the others, hearing the murmur of many tongues. Some speak Turkish, their words rolling smooth and steady. Others converse in Persian, their voices lilting with melody. A pair of travelers from distant lands exchange broken phrases in Arabic and Greek, each trying to make themselves understood. Here on the road, language is both barrier and bridge, yet all carry the same hope, the comfort of the caravanserai's walls. The gate grows nearer. It is massive, framed by stone arches and crowned with carvings of flowers, patterns that twist like vines across the surface. Above the gate, a lamp has already been lit. Its small flame trembles in the breeze, casting long shadows against the stone. That faint glow is enough, a signal to every traveler, a quiet message that they are welcome, that they are safe. The smell of earth thickens near the walls, mingled with faint traces of smoke and cooking. Some who arrived earlier have lit fires within. Their warmth drifts outward, meeting the cool night air. You take in a deep breath, and with it, a sense of peace settles over you. The road ends at the wooden doors, iron, bound and heavy. Guards stand watch, but their expressions are calm. They know the wariness of those who approach. With a slow creak, the gates open, and the courtyard of the caravanserai reveals itself, bathed in the first shadows of night. But for now, you pause. You stand just outside, letting the moment sink in. The road behind you stretches into darkness. The world beyond is endless, uncertain. But here, within these walls, there is rest. There is stillness. There is the promise of sleep. Your steps carry you forward across the threshold, into the shelter of stone and light. The journey of the day has ended. The journey of the night, the quiet hours within the caravanserai, is about to begin. The first steps through the gate are always the most memorable. For centuries, travelers have paused here, standing between the open world and the safety of stone walls. It is a threshold not only of place, but of feeling, the passing from exposure to protection, from road to rest. The gate itself towers above you. Its heavy wooden doors, bound with black iron, carry the marks of time. Scratches from years of use, faint carvings worn smooth by countless hands, and hinges that groan with a voice as old as the empire itself. When the gate swings shut, a low echo fills the air, deep and resonant, as though the walls are speaking back to the night. Carved into the stone above the archway are patterns in the Ottoman style, geometric stars, interwoven vines, and the faint script of prayers and blessings. These designs, though weathered, seem to hold their own quiet glow in the dim light, a reminder that even in the harshest of journeys, beauty was never forgotten. Inside the gate, a broad passageway leads you into the heart of the caravanserai. The walls here are thick and cool, holding the memory of shade even after the sun has set. Your footsteps echo softly against the stone, mingling with the sounds of others entering behind you. The murmur of voices, the shuffle of animals, the clink of goods being adjusted, all blend into a low, steady hum of arrival. Lanterns flicker along the walls, their light golden and soft. Each flame dances within its glass shield, casting trembling shadows that seem alive. The light does not dazzle, but it comforts, tracing gentle patterns across the stone, guiding every traveler deeper inside. As you walk, the sounds of the outside world begin to fade. The winds of the open plain soften, the endless silence of the road recedes. Here within these walls, another world takes shape, enclosed, contained, yet alive with the pulse of human presence. At the far end of the passageway, you step into the great central courtyard. It opens wide before you, a vast square space, surrounded on all sides by arcades and chambers. The stone is worn smooth beneath countless feet, yet holds steady, as though built not for a single lifetime, but for eternity. In the center of the courtyard, a fountain trickles gently. Its water, drawn from a well deep below, is cool and clear, a blessing for travelers who have known thirst along the road. The sound of the water carries softly through the night, a gentle rhythm that soothes the weary spirit. Around the courtyard, arches rise one after another, each leading to a chamber or hall. Some are for merchants and their wares, others for pilgrims and families. Stables stretch along one side, where animals will be given food and water before settling into the straw. Above, a row of small windows marks the rooms where travelers may sleep, their shutters partly open, allowing the night breeze to pass through. The architecture is both simple and grand. Every line of stone seems designed with care, not only for strength, but for balance and harmony. This was not merely a place to stop. It was a sanctuary built with intention, built with respect for the human need to rest. You pause to take it all in. The scale of the courtyard, the steady flicker of torches, the faint laughter of children who, even after long travel, find joy in chasing one another across the open space. The great stone gate, now closed behind you, stands tall as a silent guardian, watching over all within. A group of merchants set down their bundles near the wall. The smell of spices drifts into the air: cinnamon, saffron, dried fruits carried from distant lands. Nearby, a pilgrim kneels by the fountain, cupping water into his hands, washing away the dust of the road. Others speak quietly in small circles, their words half hidden by the crackle of torches. For a moment you allow yourself to simply stand still. Your body feels lighter already, your steps less burdened. The long road has ended for the day, and here within these walls, time itself seems to slow. The night is no longer a threat, but a companion settling gently over the courtyard, wrapping all in its calm embrace. The great stone gate, solid and enduring, remains behind you. Yet even as you move deeper into the Caravanserai, its presence lingers in your mind. It is more than a gate of wood and iron. It is the threshold to peace, to the quiet hours ahead, to the soft drift of sleep. And as the night deepens, you know that you are safe. The world outside may stretch on endlessly, but tonight, within these walls, you have found your shelter. The courtyard opens wide before you, a calm and steady heart beating within the walls of stone. After the dim passage of the gate, this space feels almost endless, a square of light and shadow beneath the night sky. Lanterns burn gently along the arches, their flames steady, casting warm pools of gold upon the stone. Each archway holds a mystery: rooms for merchants and families, storerooms filled with goods, and quiet corners where travelers may rest in silence. At the center, the fountain continues to flow, its waters catching the faint light, silver ripples spreading outward with every drop that falls. The sound is soft, but it carries through the space, a reminder that refreshment, that life itself, is always near at hand. The air is different here, cooler, gentler, touched by the faint fragrance of herbs burning in a brazier nearby. Someone has set incense upon the coals, and its smoke curls slowly into the night. The scent is sharp with sage, sweet with rose, and grounding with the deep note of myrrh. Around you, travelers begin to settle. A family spreads woven blankets along the wall, unrolling them with practiced care. Children whisper, their eyes wide with wonder, taking in the scale of the courtyard. They look upward, to the tall stone walls that seem to hold the very sky in place. Merchants gather in circles, lowering their packs, loosening the ties on baskets and crates. Some goods will be kept safe for the night, locked away in storerooms, while others remain close by, watched with care. Silks folded neatly, spices sealed tight, precious glass wrapped in cloth. Every item has a story, and every traveler carries a piece of a distant land. At the far side of the courtyard, the animals are led toward the stables. The shuffle of hooves, the gentle snorts of camels, the stamping of horses, all echo beneath the arches. Handlers speak softly, their voices low and reassuring, guiding the animals toward rest. Water troughs are filled, hay is spread, and one by one, the creatures of the road grow calm. You move slowly across the courtyard, letting your eyes take in every detail. The stone beneath your feet feels cool, holding the memory of the day's warmth, yet offering relief in the night. The air is alive with quiet sounds. A cough here, a laugh there, the low murmur of prayers rising from a corner chamber. Above, the sky is perfectly clear. The walls frame a square of stars, so bright they seem almost close enough to touch. The Milky Way arcs across the heavens, a silent road of light mirroring the roads that caravans follow on Earth. You pause for a long moment, watching those ancient stars, knowing they have shone on every traveler before you. Near the fountain, a man in simple robes sits upon the edge, plucking gently at a stringed instrument. The notes rise into the air, delicate and wandering, echoing softly against the stone. The melody is not loud, not insistent, but it lingers like a memory carried on the breeze. Others draw near, listening with closed eyes, allowing the music to blend with the trickle of water and the crackle of distant fire. The courtyard begins to settle into its rhythm. Voices soften, movements slow, and an unspoken agreement takes hold. This is a place of rest. There is no need for haste, no reason for fear. Within these walls, the world has grown gentle. You find your place near one of the arches, where the shadows are deep, but the glow of a nearby lantern offers a circle of warmth. A mat is laid out for you, simple yet sufficient. As you lower yourself onto it, you feel the body's weight ease into the ground, the muscles loosening, the breath deepening. The courtyard around you continues to murmur softly, like a lullaby carried by many voices. Stories are exchanged in quiet tones, hands gesture in the firelight, and laughter rises low and fleeting before dissolving into the night. The fountain flows, the music drifts, the lanterns glow, and the stars remain, silent witnesses to every traveler's dream. For a moment you think of the road behind, the dust, the distance, the endless horizon. And then you think of the road ahead, unknown cities, new companions, unwritten stories. But here tonight there is only this courtyard, this safe and steady space between what has passed and what is yet to come. Slowly you close your eyes, listening to the gentle symphony of the night. Every sound blends into a rhythm of rest. The trickling fountain, the soft notes of the instrument, the faint shuffle of straw in the stables. Each one draws you deeper inward, toward quiet, toward peace. The courtyard cradles you, as it has cradled thousands before, and as it will cradle countless more. Time seems to dissolve here, leaving only stillness, only breath, only the slow drift of sleep. The gates have closed, yet life within the Caravanserai continues to stir. For every caravan that arrives at dusk, there is a moment of gentle bustle, a settling in, a weaving together of travelers, each with their own burdens, each with their own relief at finding shelter. The courtyard, though enclosed by stone, feels alive with movement. Families unpack their bundles, spreading mats and cushions on the ground. Merchants carefully arrange their goods, checking every sack and bundle, as though counting not just items, but the very measure of their survival. Pilgrims find a corner for prayer, bowing with soft voices that melt into the night air. Children dart between the groups, their laughter echoing like birdsong, bringing brightness even to the most wary faces. A boy chases after his sister, his small sandals tapping against stone. until a gentle hand pulls him near, reminding him that others seek rest. Still, his smile lingers, a reminder that even along difficult roads, joy finds its place. The animals, too, are part of this settling. Camels kneel upon the straw, their long necks swaying before folding close. Their deep rumbling grunts vibrate in the still air, a sound at once strange and comforting. Horses drink greedily from buckets, their nostrils flaring with every breath. Donkeys, smaller and stubborn, stamp their hooves until they, too, find a place of quiet. Travelers move with unspoken rhythm, each knowing the customs of arrival. Shoes are loosened, robes adjusted, hands washed with cool water drawn from the fountain. The rituals of the road fade, replaced by the rituals of rest. A host moves among the guests, an older man in simple garments, his eyes kind, his voice low yet steady. He greets each group with words of welcome, sometimes offering a gesture, sometimes placing a hand gently to his heart. Though many languages are spoken here, the meaning is clear: you are safe within these walls. From a chamber near the courtyard, the smell of food drifts outward. Rice steaming gently in great pots, bread rising in the glow of ovens, lamb stewed slowly with herbs. The scent wraps itself around the courtyard, pulling travelers nearer with every breath. Hunger, so often ignored on the road, awakens again in the comfort of shelter. Some approach the host, asking with hopeful eyes if food will be shared soon. He nods, a small smile upon his lips, and gestures toward the kitchen halls. Not long now. The night's meal is nearly ready. Around the fountain, groups begin to gather. A merchant unrolls a strip of fabric, its colors bright even in the dim light, deep blues, woven gold, threads that catch the glow of lanterns. Others lean in, admiring, touching lightly, speaking of faraway cities where such fabric was born. Another man produces a pouch of spices. He opens it with care, releasing a fragrance so strong, so vivid, that it seems to shift the air itself. Cinnamon, pepper, cardamom, each grain a story of fields and markets hundreds of miles away. Those gathered breathe deeply, eyes closing as they imagine lands beyond their own. The courtyard hums with these small exchanges, not transactions of coins, but of wonder, of curiosity, of connection. Each traveler brings something, and each leaves with more than they arrived. As the host moves once more among the groups, he carries small lanterns, placing them near each cluster of travelers. The flames flicker, painting faces in shades of gold and shadow. The night, once dark and wide, now feels intimate, as though every soul here is part of the same quiet circle. You, too, feel this welcome. The road behind you has been long, but now the weight upon your shoulders lifts. You are no longer a wanderer outside the walls. You are a guest, embraced by the rhythm of the Caravanserai. Nearby, a voice begins to sing. It is low and soft, almost like a prayer, carried gently by the night air. The melody winds upward, simple yet full of depth. Others pause to listen, their eyes softening, their breath slowing. The song is not long, but it lingers, like the memory of comfort long after it is given. The courtyard grows quieter now, its bustle easing into stillness. The animals rest, the children yawn, and the merchants, though still speaking, lower their voices to a whisper. The night deepens, wrapping the Caravanserai in its embrace. The host passes once more, his lantern held high. He does not speak, but his presence is enough. This place is tended, watched, cared for, and you, like all who entered tonight, are welcomed. You draw your blanket closer, resting upon the mat beneath you. The courtyard sounds wash over you. The fountain, the low murmur of voices, the rustle of straw. Each sound blends into a single note, a lullaby of arrival. And so, as the stars continue their silent watch above, you let go of the road behind and lean fully into the peace of the Caravanserai. Here, in the stillness of stone walls, the journey of night has begun. From the far side of the courtyard, the scent of food grows stronger. It drifts through the arches, weaving between lanterns and travelers, wrapping all in its comforting embrace. After days on the road, even the faintest aroma of bread and stew feels like a gift from heaven. The kitchen of the Caravanserai is a world of its own. Step inside, and you find a long hall of stone, its walls darkened by years of smoke, its air alive with the crackle of flame. Large hearths line the sides, each glowing with the steady red of fire. Above them, pots simmer slowly, their lids rattling with every rise of steam. The cooks move with practiced rhythm, their hands steady, their voices quiet but sure. A ladle dips into a pot of rice, lifting grains that glisten in the firelight. Another stirs a cauldron of lamb stew, its surface rich with oil, its scent layered with onion, garlic, and the subtle bite of coriander. In the corner, a baker pulls rounds of bread from the oven. The loaves are golden, their crusts crisp, their centers soft and warm. The air near them is thick with the smell of wheat, toasted and sweet. He sets them in neat piles, steam rising in pale ribbons that curl toward the rafters. Travelers gather near the doorway, their eyes drawn toward the feast in preparation. They do not push or clamor, for they know the meal will come in time. Instead, they watch, breathing deeply, letting the scent of food alone begin to ease their weariness. The kitchen is not only for nourishment, it is a place of stories. One man, seated on a low stool, peels garlic with slow, deliberate motions. As his hands work, his voice weaves tales of a city by the sea, where markets bloom with color, and fishermen sing as they pull their nets. Others listen, their eyes shining in the firelight, their imaginations traveling even as their bodies rest. Near him, another speaks of mountains far to the east, where snow crowns the peaks and rivers roar through deep valleys. His words mingle with the smoke of the fires, drifting upward, as though carried to the heavens. The cooks smile at these exchanges. They, too, are travelers in their own way, though rooted to this place. They meet the world through the stories brought in by every caravan. Each meal is flavored not only with spices, but with the voices of those who pass through. The fires snap and pop, casting brief sparks into the air. Their light dances across the stone, bright for a moment, then fading into shadow. The warmth fills the room, chasing away the chill of night. Even those who linger only near the doorway feel it upon their faces, soft and steady, like an embrace. At last, the meal is ready. The cooks move with calm efficiency, filling bowls with steaming rice, ladling stew rich and fragrant, handing out bread still hot from the oven. One by one, travelers come forward, receiving their portion with bowed heads, with words of thanks whispered low. Back in the courtyard, the feast begins. Families gather around shared bowls, tearing bread into pieces, dipping it into stew, passing it from hand to hand. Merchants sit shoulder to shoulder, their conversations quiet but animated, their laughter low and genuine. Pilgrims eat in silence, their eyes closed in prayer between each bite. The sound of eating is its own music, the crunch of bread, the soft clink of spoons against bowls, the satisfied sighs of travelers who have known hunger too long. It is not a grand banquet, yet to those who sit here tonight, it feels abundant, even sacred. You too take your portion. The rice is fluffy and warm, the stew rich with flavor, the bread soft within your hands. Each bite seems to carry more than taster. It carries comfort, safety, and the unspoken knowledge that you are not alone. As the meal continues, the fires in the kitchen burn lower. The cooks clean their pots, wiping the stone counters, stacking the wooden spoons. The smell of food lingers, mingling now with the sweet smoke of wood that has nearly burned itself out. In the courtyard, bowls are emptied, crumbs brushed away, hands washed once more at the fountain. Stomachs full, hearts softened, the travelers grow quieter. Children lean against their parents, eyes heavy with sleep. Merchants stretch their legs, their words trailing into silence. Even the animals seem calmer, their breathing slow and steady in the nearby stables. The night has deepened. The fires of the kitchen glow faintly now, like embers in a dream. And within every soul here, a warmth remains, not just of food, but of belonging. You lean back against the stone, your body heavy yet at ease. The flavors of the meal linger on your tongue, the warmth still in your chest. Above, the stars continue to shine. But you need not look to know they are there. You feel them, as you feel the fire, as you feel the slow rhythm of rest settling deeper and deeper into the night. The courtyard, warmed by fire and food, begins to hum with a quieter rhythm. Travelers lean back against their mats, their bellies full, their voices softer now. Yet for some, the night is not only a time of rest, but also of exchange. Merchants ever eager to share their treasures, open their bundles by the lantern light. What was hidden on the road, carefully wrapped and guarded, is now revealed, each object carrying with it the distant breath of another land. A man from Damascus spreads a length of silk across the stone beside him. It unfurls like water, blue as the evening sky, with threads of gold that shimmer each time the lantern flame trembles. Others lean closer, their fingers brushing the fabric, their voices low with admiration. To touch such silk is to feel the river it once crossed, the loom that once wove it, the hands that guided its creation. Beside him, another trader reveals spices. He opens small jars, each stoppered with care. At once the air shifts rich and sharp, warm and sweet. Cardamom, pepper, cloves, their fragrances mixing until the night itself seems to wear perfume. Travelers inhale deeply, closing their eyes, as if the scent alone could carry them across deserts and seas. Further along, a man kneels beside a chest lined with straw. From it he lifts delicate glass, blown thin and fragile, its surface gleaming like frozen water. He holds it high for all to see, and the lantern light catches within it, casting tiny rainbows across the stone. Gasps rise softly from those nearby, not from greed, but from wonder. For how could such fragility survive the endless road? Others bring simpler wares, yet no less valuable. Wool blankets thickly woven, ready to keep a family warm. Copper bowls hammered smooth, their surfaces shining like red fire. Leather sandals sturdy and worn, proof that skill is as precious as gold. The courtyard grows lively again, but not with the harsh noise of bargaining. Here, voices are hushed, curiosity outweighs coin. Merchants speak not only of prices but of stories. This silk was woven near Aleppo, where the air smells of jasmine. These spices crossed the sea, traded hand to hand until they found my caravan. This glass was shaped by fire on the shores of the Bosphorus, where ships rest like birds upon the water. Every object carries its history, and every listener, wrapped in blankets and shadows, lets their imagination wander to those faraway places. Children gather close, their eyes wide at the sight of treasures. One boy runs his finger lightly over a carved wooden toy, shaped like a horse. He whispers a question to the merchant, who smiles and presses the toy into his hand. The boy's mother protests softly, but the trader only shakes his head, as though kindness itself were part of his trade. Nearby, two older men exchange goods quietly. One offers a pouch of saffron, its threads as red as embers. The other lays out a dagger, its blade curved, its hilt wrapped in leather. There are no raised voices, no drawn-out arguments. They speak gently, nodding once, and the exchange is done. Both leave with something they value, both leave content. The lanterns burn steadily above it all, casting their glow upon faces intent with listening, upon hands that lift and touch, upon goods that shimmer, each with its own life. The courtyard, once only a place of stone and water, has become for a while a market, a meeting ground, a window into the wider world. You wander slowly among the groups, letting your gaze linger on silks and spices, metals and glass. You do not need to buy. The seeing alone is enough. Each item tells a story, and each story carries you further than your feet could walk. The smell of the spices lingers as you pass. The warmth of the wool blankets seems to brush against your fingertips. The gleam of copper bowls reflects tiny suns of lantern flame, and the silks, shifting like waves in the firelight, seem to move with their own life. After a time, the market slows. Merchants roll their fabrics once more, stopper their jars, wrap their glass in straw. The chests are closed, the bundles tied, the treasures tucked safely away. The night, too, calls them to rest. But the memory of what was seen remains. Even when the goods are hidden again, the air still carries the scent of spice, the stone still reflects the shimmer of silk. The imagination, once awakened, does not close so easily. You return to your mat, your heart lighter than before. You may carry no silk, no glass, no pouch of saffron, but you carry stories, images, and the gentle wonder of a market held in the quiet of night. The merchants lie down, their voices fading into whispers. Lanterns are lowered, their flames softened. their light a dim golden haze. The courtyard grows still again, its brief marketplace dissolved into memory. And as you close your eyes, you see once more the treasures of the night. A silk that shimmered like water, a glass that caught the stars, a spice whose fragrance traveled further than the caravan itself. All of it remains with you, weaving gently into dreams, a reminder that within these walls, the world comes together, and even in rest, you are traveling still. After the courtyard has quieted, a faint mist rises from the far side of the Caravanserai. It drifts through the arches, carrying with it a warmth that feels like an embrace. Here lies the bathhouse, the hammam, a place of both cleansing and stillness, where weary travelers shed not only dust, but the heaviness of the road itself. The entrance is modest, a simple wooden door tucked beneath an arch, yet beyond it another world awaits. As you step inside, the air changes at once. It is thick with warmth, moist with steam, and it curls gently against your skin like the first breath of sleep. Lanterns glow behind carved screens, their light softened to a golden haze. The stone walls glisten faintly with condensation, as if each block has absorbed the stories of those who have passed through. The sound of dripping water echoes slowly, a steady rhythm that soothes and fills the silence with life. Travelers gather quietly within. Some sit upon low benches, wrapping themselves in linen towels. Others lean against the warm stone, their eyes closed, allowing the heat to seep deep into their bones. The road has been long, but here, the road disappears. In the center of the chamber, a marble basin holds clear water, cool and pure. From it, smaller bowls are filled, poured gently over shoulders and hands. The water runs in rivulets, washing away dust, leaving the skin refreshed, the spirit lightened. Steam curls upward toward the vaulted ceiling, where faint mosaics glimmer in the haze. Stars and patterns, circles within circles, remind all who look upward of the harmony woven into the world. Even the ceiling, far above the heat and mist, seems to breathe softly, its designs blurred into dreamlike shapes. A young man hums to himself as he pours water over his arms. The tune is slow, without words, its rhythm joining the drip of water, the sigh of steam. Others do not speak, but listen quietly, their own thoughts folding gently inward. The hammam is more than a bath. It is a ritual, a passage from weariness to renewal. The heat draws out the aches of travel, loosens the knots of burden. Each breath taken in the steam feels fuller, softer, as though even the lungs are washed clean. You find a place upon the warm stone. It cradles you, firm yet forgiving, the warmth spreading slowly through your body. You dip a brass bowl into the basin, lift it, and pour the water gently over your head. It runs down like rain, and for a moment you feel as though you have stepped into another season, a spring shower after a long and dusty summer. Others do the same, their movements unhurried. No one rushes here. Time itself has slowed, as if the world beyond the walls no longer matters. This chamber is its own world, and within it, there is no distance, no burden, no past or future. There is only the warmth, the water, the steady pulse of being. A father lifts a bowl of water and pours it gently over the shoulders of his son. The boy laughs softly, the sound bright in the mist. Nearby, an elder leans against the stone, his eyes closed, his breathing slow and deep. Generations rest side by side, each finding in the hammam a mirror of their own need. Play, stillness, renewal. The scent of soap, faint and earthy, lingers in the air. Olive oil and herbs, simple, clean. A fragrance that clings softly to the skin. It is not strong, but comforting, a reminder that the simplest gifts are often the most enduring. After a time, you rise and step toward the cooler chamber. Here, the air is lighter, the mist thinner, and benches line the walls. Travelers sit wrapped in fresh cloths, their faces glowing with warmth, their movements slower, as though sleep is already drawing near. A servant pours warm water into a shallow pool, the ripples spreading outward like a final whisper of the road. Candles burn low along the edges, their flames steady, their light reflected upon the water. It feels as though the chamber itself is breathing in harmony with you. When you step outside again, the night feels cool upon your skin. The courtyard lies in quiet shadow, and the stars above shine sharper, after the softness of the steam. Every sound seems gentler now. The trickle of the fountain, the shuffle of hooves in the stables, the faint sigh of the wind. Your body is lighter, your breath deeper. The weight of the road is gone, washed away in warmth and water. Only calm remains, a calm that seeps into the soul like a quiet river. You return to your mat, wrap yourself in a blanket, and lie down beneath the dim glow of lantern light. The hammam has done its work. Your limbs are heavy, your heart is soft, your mind at rest. And as your eyes drift closed, you carry with you the memory of steam rising, of water flowing, of warmth holding you like an embrace. A memory that whispers again and again, you are safe, you are home, you may rest now. The night deepens, and yet within the stone walls of the Caravanserai, the hours are measured not by clocks, but by the rhythms of life and devotion. Amid the stillness, a sound begins to rise, soft at first, like a thread of silver pulled gently through the dark. It is the call to prayer. A voice, clear and steady, flows out across the courtyard. It does not command nor intrude, but invites, a gentle reminder that even in rest, the heart may turn towards something greater. The muezzin's tones drift upward, reaching past the arches, past the walls into the open sky. The words, shaped by centuries of tradition, echo softly against the stone. The Caravanserai listens, its halls reverberating with a calm that feels older than memory. Travelers pause where they are. A merchant lowers his bowl of food, his hands folding upon his lap. A family hushes their children, drawing them close, heads bowed in quiet reverence. Even the animals in the stables grow still, as though the call carries not only through air, but through the very pulse of the night. In a small prayer hall off the courtyard, lanterns glow softly. Rugs are spread upon the floor, their patterns faded yet beautiful, woven with colors that tell of distant villages and careful hands. One by one, figures step inside. Their movements are unhurried, their footsteps quiet, as though each step itself is a prayer. The air is cool, yet warmed by the breath of devotion. The sound of the call continues, weaving through the arches, settling into every corner of the Caravanserai. Even those who do not rise to join, who remain in their mats or resting places, feel the weight of the moment, the stillness it invites. The prayer begins. Bodies bend and rise in unison, a rhythm as steady as the beating of a heart. The sound of whispers fills the room, the recitation of verses, the breath of many becoming one. It is not loud, yet it fills the space completely, like water poured gently into a vessel. Outside, the courtyard rests in silence. The fountain continues to trickle, its rhythm joining the low cadence of prayer. The stars above, sharp and countless, watch silently from the heavens. In their light, the scene below seems both small and infinite, a gathering of travelers at prayer, and yet a reflection of something vast and eternal. A young boy kneels beside his father, his movements uncertain yet earnest. The father places a guiding hand upon his shoulder, helping him bow, helping him rise. There is no rush, only the gentle passing of devotion from one generation to the next. Elsewhere, an elder rests upon his mat, unable to stand. Yet his lips move softly, his eyes half closed in reverence. For him too, the call has meaning. For him too, this moment is prayer. The sound of voices rises, then falls like a tide upon the shore. When at last the final words are spoken, a silence follows. But it is not the silence of emptiness. It is the silence of fullness. A space filled with peace, with the soft weight of devotion settling gently upon all within the walls. Those who prayed rise slowly. Some remain seated for a while, their eyes closed, their hands folded. Others step back into the courtyard, their faces serene, their movements lightened. Children, released from stillness, begin to whisper and laugh once more, their voices like small bells in the night. The muezzin's voice fades, but its echo lingers. It clings to the arches, to the stones, to the very air. Even as the Caravanserai returns to quiet, you feel it still within you, a reminder that rest is not only of the body, but of the soul. The night resumes its gentle rhythm. A merchant pulls his blanket closer, a pilgrim drinks from the fountain, a guard adjusts his seat near the gate. But beneath it all runs the calm of prayer, like a river beneath the surface of the world. You lie back upon your mat. The stars beyond the courtyard arches seem brighter now, their light steady, their presence eternal. Your breath slows, your body heavy from warmth and water, your heart softened by the call you have just heard. And in this moment, sleep feels less like drifting away, and more like being carried. Carried upon a current that began with a voice in the night, and now carries you gently into the depths of rest. The call to prayer has faded, and silence returns to the Caravanserai. But silence never lasts long where travelers gather. Soon, in small corners of the courtyard, pockets of life begin to glow once more. Lanterns are lit, their flames steady, casting halos of soft gold upon the worn stone. A brazier glimmers in the center, embers glowing like tiny stars fallen to the earth. Around it, men and women sit cross-legged, their faces half-lit, their voices low, their stories rising into the night air. Merchants have always carried more than goods. They carry tales, gathered like jewels from distant lands. Some are polished smooth by retelling, others remain raw and strange, but all shimmer with the allure of the unknown. A man in a dark cloak begins. His voice is deep, with the steady cadence of one used to bargaining. He speaks of the deserts to the south, where caravans stretch like rivers of shadows, and where the sand swallows footprints as soon as they are made. He tells of aces hidden like emeralds, of cities that appear like mirages, their towers rising from the heat, only to vanish again in the haze. The others listen, their eyes fixed upon the fire. The glow of the embers dances across their faces, making each listener a portrait framed by shadow and light. Some close their eyes, letting the words paint pictures in their minds. Another merchant speaks, this one younger with quick eyes that gleam like steel. He tells of the markets of the north, where spices are traded for furs, where coins jingle like rainfall, and where the air itself smells of pepper and pine. He remembers the laughter of taverns, the music of flutes played under snow-dusted roofs, and the endless stretch of roads where wolves watched from the forest's edge. The group leans closer, drawn not only by the heat of the fire, but by the warmth of shared imagination. In this courtyard, far from all those distant places, the world itself seems to expand. Walls dissolve. The road continues beyond the gate, and the listeners travel with the speakers, if only in spirit. A woman, draped in a traveling shawl, adds her own voice. She speaks of the sea. Her words are slower, like the rolling of waves. She tells of ships that sway like cradles, of sails filled with night winds, of gulls that cry above distant harbors. She remembers the salt upon her lips, the endless horizon where sky meets water. Her story carries a rhythm of tides, and those who hear it sway gently with her words. Laughter follows one tale, sighs another. A guard tells of bandits scattered on the road, his tale sharpened with gestures of sword and shield. Yet he softens his ending with humor, describing how the bandits, once caught, were given bread and water before being sent on their way. Even danger becomes gentle in retelling, as though the night itself smooths the edges of memory. The embers crackle. A thin thread of smoke rises into the star-filled sky. It curls upward like the stories themselves, fading yet lingering, leaving behind a faint scent of cedar and ash. Children listen, eyes wide, their small bodies wrapped in blankets. They do not always understand the words, but the rhythm of storytelling, the rise and fall of voices, is its own kind of lullaby. Some lean against their mothers, drifting towards sleep, while the stories weave on without them. A traveling scholar speaks last. His voice is quiet, his words chosen with care. He tells no tale of faraway lands, but instead recalls a memory. He describes a caravanserai much like this one, a place he entered years before, where strangers became companions, and where he realized that the road is not only a journey across land, but also a journey into the hearts of others. His words settle deeply into the silence. For a moment no one speaks. The fire flickers, shadows bend, and the courtyard breathes as one. At last, a merchant chuckles softly. The spell is broken, but gently, like a cloud parting to reveal a star. The stories drift into laughter, into quiet conversations, into the steady rhythm of night once more. The embers begin to fade. One by one, travelers pull their blankets close. The courtyard grows quiet again, the fire left to smolder in its basin. But the warmth lingers, not in flame but in memory. You close your eyes, carrying the voices with you. You see the deserts, the forests, the seas. You feel the salt wind, the snow, the endless sand. And though you have never left your mat, you have traveled far tonight. The last ember glows faintly, a single point of light in the dark. It fades slowly, until the courtyard is left to the stars. And with it, your mind too drifts, carried upon stories, into the vast, gentle expanse of sleep. While most within the Caravanserai surrender to slumber, a few remain awake. They are the watchmen, silent guardians of the night. Their duty is simple, yet sacred, to keep the peace, to ensure that those who sleep beneath the arches may do so without fear. They walk slowly, their steps soft upon the stone. The lamps they carry burn faintly, casting circles of light that drift across the courtyard walls. Now and then, the glow of a lantern reveals their faces, calm, focused, lined not with worry but with patience. One lingers by the great wooden gate. It is barred from within, its iron hinges dark against the night. He runs his hand along the grain of the wood, feeling its strength, as though reminding himself that the world beyond is held safely at bay. From time to time he leans close, listening for sounds outside. But all he hears is the quiet murmur of wind in the grass and the distant cry of a night bird. Another watchman circles the stables. The horses stir softly in their sleep, hooves shifting against straw, tails flicking at dreams unseen. He whispers to them as he passes, low words meant more for comfort than command. The animals recognize his voice, and they settle once again, their breath deep and slow. Atop the walls, a guard gazes outward. The world beyond the Caravanserai lies cloaked in shadow. The road stretches empty under the moon, a pale ribbon winding through the land. Fields spread wide, their grasses swaying gently, their silvered tops glinting in the starlight. Far in the distance, a faint howl echoes. The guard does not stir. He knows the wolves will not come close tonight. The firelight and human scent are enough to keep them away. The watchmen are not alone in their wakefulness. Owls circle overhead, their wings soundless against the sky. Their eyes, golden and unblinking, peer down upon the courtyard. One alights upon the edge of the wall, its silhouette sharp against the stars. For a moment, the guard and the owl regard one another, two sentinels sharing the night. Within the Caravanserai, the watchmen pass one another quietly. A nod, a soft word, a brief exchange of glances. No long conversations are needed. Each knows the weight of the task, and each trusts the other to bear it well. Every so often, a lantern is trimmed, its flame coaxed into strength once more. The smell of warm oil drifts gently, mingling with the cooler air of night. Shadows lengthen and shrink again, as steady hands keep the lights alive. The courtyard, in its stillness, feels almost like a dream itself. The fountain continues to trickle, its voice the only constant song of the night. The brazier, now little more than ash, gives off faint wisps of smoke. Blanketed forms rise and fall with steady breaths, their dreams unwatched but protected. The watchmen do not resent their task. For them, the night carries a strange beauty. To walk while others rest is to see the world in its quietest state. To guard a place of safety is to feel the rhythm of trust beating like a hidden drum. They know that when dawn comes, their efforts will pass unnoticed. The travelers will rise refreshed, never having known what dangers might have stirred in the darkness. And that is enough. Hours pass in silence, measured only by the shifting of stars. The moon climbs higher, then drifts slowly downward, its light silver upon the courtyard stones. The guards watch it, noticing its path as farmers notice the turning of the seasons. It is their clock, their measure of patience. At last, one watchman pauses by the fountain. He kneels, cups his hands and lifts the cool water to his lips. The taste is crisp, refreshing against the dryness of night. He wipes his brow, sighs softly, and listens once more to the quiet. Somewhere above, the owl calls again. The guard at the wall answers, not with words, but with a smile. The Caravanserai sleeps on. The watchmen walk their paths round and round like steady stars tracing circles in the sky. Unseen, unthanked, yet essential. They weave a fabric of safety around the resting souls. And you too feel the weight of their vigilance. You know deep in your heart that while you dream, others keep watch. The thought settles upon you like a blanket, warm, reassuring, gentle. The night stretches long, but you do not fear it, for the watchmen remain steady as stone, quiet as the stars. And with that knowledge, your breath slows, your eyes grow heavy, and you, like the many travelers around you, slip deeper into the embrace of rest, safe beneath the watchful gaze of the night. The courtyard rests beneath the deep velvet of night. Torches flicker along the walls, their flames dancing across stone, casting shadows that stretch and bend like gentle whispers of the day now past. The arches hold darkness softly, and yet within them, soft movement is still present. A cat prowls along the edge of the fountain, its paws silent against the smooth stones, its eyes reflecting lantern light like tiny amber stars. From somewhere near the stables, a camel shifts in its straw, its breath rising in a slow, misted rhythm. The air carries a mixture of warmth and coolness. The day's dust has settled into the corners, and the soft scent of herbs from the kitchen drifts through the arches. The night wind moves gently, stirring a loose tapestry hung from a wall, and the sound is soft, like a lullaby in stone. Lanterns swing slightly in the evening breeze, their light painting patterns across the walls. Shadows twist in quiet rhythm, elongating then shrinking, sometimes forming shapes that seem alive. A traveler watches from a mat near the fountain, his head resting against folded blankets, eyes heavy but alert, taking in the serene choreography of fire and shadow. Near the entrance, the watchman stands, leaning lightly upon the wooden gate. He listens to the soft night sounds, a distant owl, the murmur of water, and the faint shuffle of a horse in its stall. Each sound reminds him of his duty, yet it also brings a calm sense of presence. He does not hurry, he does not speak. He is the silent heartbeat of the courtyard, a guardian in the rhythm of the night. In corners of the courtyard, small fires smolder. A merchant's brazier, long since used for warmth, still sends faint smoke curling upward, its embers glowing like tiny, fading stars. Travelers nearby sit in quiet conversation, their voices low, words melting softly into the night. Some speak of their journeys of cities and deserts far away, while others remain silent, listening only to the night's gentle music. The fountain trickles steadily, its waters catching the torchlight in ripples of silver. The sound blends with distant laughter of children from earlier hours and the soft rustle of blankets as travelers shift in sleep. Even in darkness, the courtyard hums with life, a gentle symphony of stillness and presence. Above, the stars shine with delicate intensity. They seem closer here, their light not scattered by city smoke or sunlit dust. The constellations tell quiet stories, old and familiar, and travelers occasionally glance upward, allowing their minds to wander across the vastness of Anatolia, imagining distant cities beneath the same sky. Shadows of arches create corridors of mystery, and sometimes the mind fills them with shapes of imagined travelers, ghostly echoes of footsteps from centuries past. But these shadows do not frighten, they are companions in the night, reminders that the courtyard has always been alive, even in silence. A gentle wind rises, carrying the smell of pine from the hills beyond. It touches the faces of those resting, softly stirring hair, lifting the edge of a blanket. The courtyard responds in quiet acknowledgement. Torches flicker in agreement. The fountain ripples more softly, and the embers in the brazier sigh a last whisper of warmth. Some travelers wander slowly through the courtyard, barefoot or in soft sandals, their steps measured and mindful. One pauses by the fountain, touching the water with fingers and letting it flow across the back of the hand. Another adjusts a bundle, laying it carefully near the mat for comfort. Even in these small movements, the night feels deliberate, like a long exhale after the day's journey. All around, the firelight and shadows dance together, painting the courtyard in a rhythm that is almost musical in its quietude. No sound is harsh, no movement disturbs the gentle peace. The world outside the walls, storms, sun, dust roads, feels distant and unreal. You lie back on your mat beneath the arches, watching torchlight flicker across the courtyard. The shadows stretch, then shrink. Your breath slows, matching the soft pulse of the night. The watchman's presence at the gate feels like a steady heartbeat. The fountain's trickle is a lullaby. Even the distant stars above seem to hum with light. In this courtyard, the night is full, yet empty enough to hold dreams. The stone beneath you is firm yet forgiving. The air carries the warmth of embers and the cool caress of evening. Your eyes grow heavier with every flicker of torchlight. Your body relaxes, your mind drifts. The courtyard watches silently, holding you in its gentle embrace. And so the night deepens. Shadows stretch across the stone, torches sway in gentle rhythm, and the courtyard becomes a world unto itself, a sanctuary for travelers, a cradle of rest beneath the stars. The gate stands silent beneath the moon, its heavy wooden doors framed by stone arches. Beyond it, the road stretches dark and endless, but here, within the Caravanserai, there is a quiet order, held steady by the watchman. He leans lightly on the gate, shoulders relaxed yet alert. His lantern burns faintly, casting a small circle of warm light on the worn stones. Shadows bend and stretch around him, but he moves among them with ease, a calm presence in the embrace of night. The world outside is distant and uncertain. Faraway travelers on the road could never reach this courtyard in a single hour, yet the watchman remains vigilant. Every sound is noted, the soft crunch of a stone, the whisper of wind through the arches, the distant cry of an owl. None go unnoticed. His hands rest gently upon the gate. He knows its weight, its history. This gate has held strong against storms, against sun and dust, against the uncertainty of countless nights. It is more than wood and iron. It is a threshold of safety, a line between the world outside and the world within. Occasionally, a traveler stirs. A merchant adjusts a bundle of silks. A child shifts beneath a blanket. The watchman does not speak. His presence is enough, a quiet reassurance that all is well. No words are needed. The soft rhythm of his breath, the steady glow of his lantern, speak louder than conversation. The courtyard itself seems to acknowledge him. Torches flicker more gently, as if bowing to his watchful care. The fountain ripples with measured patience, its waters reflecting the small, unwavering light. Even the stone walls feel secure, anchored by the constancy of his vigil. The night is long, yet it passes quietly. He walks the perimeter slowly, feet soft against the stone. He pauses at the corners, listening to the faint sounds of the sleeping caravan. A horse exhales in the stables, a loose shutter creaks in the gentle breeze, but nothing threatens the calm he protects. Above, the stars shine endlessly. Their light falls upon the gate and the watchman, as if blessing his tireless care. He lifts his gaze occasionally, letting the vastness of the night remind him that he is part of a larger world, yet also a steadfast guardian of this small, sacred space. Time seems suspended here. Minutes stretch into hours. The watchman does not feel weariness. His attention is a meditation, his vigil a rhythm matched with the pulse of the caravan. Each passing moment is a promise that all within the walls may rest, safe and undisturbed. Occasionally, he steps closer to the lantern, trimming its wick, letting the warm glow shine across the stones. The courtyard is bathed in gold and shadow, familiar shapes softened by the flickering light. Even the smallest details, the curve of an arch, the ripple of water, the folds of a blanket, become part of a gentle, protective tapestry. A soft breeze carries the scent of herbs from the kitchen, the faint smoke of embers, and the quiet warmth of blankets and sleeping bodies. He breathes it in, letting it remind him of why he keeps watch. This is not duty alone, it is care, it is devotion. It is a promise made to every traveler who seeks rest here. Sometimes, memories drift through his mind. Nights much like this one years ago, when he himself was a traveler, seeking shelter under the same roof. He remembers the sense of relief, the quiet joy of finding safety, and he carries that feeling now for all who sleep beneath his watchful eyes. Hours pass. The lantern flickers, the fountain trickles, and the wind whispers softly through the arches. The courtyard remains peaceful, the travelers dream undisturbed, and the watchman remains, a silent sentinel, a quiet heartbeat of the Caravanserai, unchanging beneath the stars. Eventually, the first hint of dawn begins to touch the sky. Shadows soften further, the air cools, and the courtyard awakens slowly, yet the watchman does not leave his post. His eyes remain steady, his presence unwavering, even as the first light spills across the stones. He knows that his vigil is not only for the night, but for the promise of tomorrow. A promise that travelers may continue their journey, refreshed and safe, knowing that somewhere, someone kept watch while they slept. And as you too drift deeper into your rest, you feel the assurance of his presence. The world may be wide, the road long, but here beneath the arches, beneath the stars, you are safe. You are protected. And sleep comes gently, wrapped in the quiet strength of a watchful heart. The market lies quiet now, its stalls folded and closed, its treasures tucked safely away. The bustling clamor of the day has faded, leaving only the soft echoes of what was. Wooden shutters lean against stone frames, and fabrics that shimmered in sunlight now rest in neat folds, dimmed by lantern shadows. Lanterns swing faintly in the courtyard breeze, casting gentle circles of light on the cobblestones beneath them. Shadows stretch across the empty pathways, softening the edges of barrels, baskets, and crates. The air carries a mixture of lingering spices, cinnamon, clove, and faint hints of dried citrus, a memory of the day's trade that drifts gently in the cool night. A merchant pauses by his closed stall, running his fingers over the smooth surface of polished copper bowls. He hums softly to himself, a melody without words, and the sound mingles with the gentle trickle of the fountain nearby. Each object, though unseen by the day's travelers, holds a story, a journey from far-off lands, and now rests in quiet anticipation of the morning. The silks from Damascus shimmer faintly under the flickering lantern light, their gold threads catching in soft glimmers that make them seem almost alive. Spices, once offered and smelled, sit in jars tightly sealed, their scents contained yet lingering, as though waiting for hands to lift their lids once more. Glass vessels, delicate and fragile, gleam in shadowed corners, their surfaces reflecting tiny fragments of torchlight. The quiet of the market is not emptiness, but a different kind of life. It is the life of patience, of treasures at rest, of labor and care paused for a brief moment. The air hums softly with potential, the promise that when dawn arrives, the market will awaken again, and each object will tell its story anew. A child stirs in a nearby blanket, half asleep, half listening to the hush of the night. She dreams of the day's wonders, of stalls overflowing with spices and silks, of merchants' laughter and tales, and her small hand brushes a forgotten basket as she shifts. The touch is gentle, and even in dreams, she feels the quiet magic of the market at rest. The watchman moves along the edges of the courtyard, his lantern casting a small halo around his feet. He pauses near each stall, glancing briefly at the neatly stored goods, ensuring that all remains undisturbed. His presence is quiet but steady, a guardian not only of travelers, but of the treasures and stories stored within each stall. The courtyard carries the weight of history. These stones have seen countless markets, countless travelers, countless nights like this one. Each object folded away, each shutter closed, adds to the tapestry of memory that the Caravanserai holds. And even in the darkness, the sense of care, of labor, of attention, breathes softly into the night. The wind drifts through the open archways, stirring a loose piece of cloth here, a scattering of straw there. It is gentle, playful, and for a moment, it seems to carry the laughter and voices of the day. Then it fades, leaving the market wrapped once again in stillness. You walk slowly along the rows of closed stalls, letting your eyes linger on each treasure tucked away. A brass bowl glimmers softly. A jar of saffron seems to hold the last rays of the sun, and a folded silk, dark as midnight, whispers of distant lands. The market tells stories even in silence, of journeys made, of hands that touched, of roads traveled and dreams carried across deserts and mountains. The courtyard itself seems to breathe with the market. Its arches hold the hush like a soft quilt. Its stones remember every footstep, and its air carries the echo of countless voices, blended together in the gentle song of rest. Even the smallest details, The knot of a rope, the curl of a ribbon, the gleam of a polished jug speak quietly of care, patience, and waiting. As you lie back on your mat near the fountain, the shadows of the closed stalls surround you like guardians. The flicker of lantern light dances across the stones, and the memory of the bustling day drifts softly into dreams. You can almost hear the whispers of the merchants, telling their tales to the night, their voices carried in the hush between shadows. And in this quiet, you feel a deep sense of safety. The market at rest is more than empty stalls. It is a sanctuary of objects and stories, protected and preserved through the long hours of night. And as sleep draws near, you carry the gentle magic of this hidden world with you into dreams. The courtyard has grown still, and the world beyond the Caravanserai opens wide beneath the night sky. Above, stars shimmer in countless numbers, bright and steady, each one a distant fire in the cool darkness. The heavens stretch endlessly, a vast tapestry of light and shadow, and travelers pause, even in their rest, to lift their eyes toward the celestial sea. The stars have watched over these lands for centuries. They witnessed caravans winding through deserts, horses carrying merchants across mountains, and travelers resting in the shadow of ancient walls. Now, they watch quietly over the Caravanserai, their light soft as it spills across arches and fountains. It is a light that does not demand attention, yet fills every corner of the night. A traveler leans against a stone column, head tilted upward, eyes tracing constellations long named by those who came before. Orion moves across the sky in his eternal hunt. The Pleiades cluster gleams like a cluster of tiny lanterns, and the Milky Way spills its silver dust across the heavens. The traveler feels both small and infinite, connected to the vastness of the world yet safe within the protective walls of the Caravanserai. The stars carry stories. They speak of distant cities, of Samarkand's bustling streets, Damascus with its fragrant markets, Cairo and the Nile's gentle curve. Each light whispers of lands unseen, of roads traveled long ago, and of travelers who once looked up from the same earth, their hearts full of hope and curiosity. A gentle breeze stirs the courtyard, ruffling cloaks and brushing across sleeping mats. The wind carries the faint scent of night, blooming jasmine, a fragrance mingled with the cool aroma of stone and water. Even the torches, now low in their glow, seem to bow toward the heavens, acknowledging the vastness above. The watchman at the gate glances upward, his lantern casting a small halo on the ground. He notices the constellations and smiles softly. Though his task is earthly and immediate, the stars remind him of something eternal, something beyond walls, gates, and roads. They are a quiet companion, as faithful and constant as his own vigil. Elsewhere in the courtyard, a child sleeps peacefully, dreaming beneath the glow of the night sky. Perhaps she sees the stars as lanterns, each one guiding travelers home. Perhaps she imagines herself walking across distant lands, each step light and certain, led by the gentle illumination of 1,000 suns. In sleep, the sky becomes both world and dream, both shelter and inspiration. The fountain murmurs softly nearby, its waters reflecting points of light like scattered jewels. The sound blends with the whisper of wind and the subtle shift of shadows. It is a quiet symphony, a lullaby of stone, water, and sky. The courtyard breathes with it, and every traveler senses the harmony, even in the half-light of dreams. From a distant roof, an owl calls softly. Its voice carries across the courtyard, brief and solitary, yet somehow part of the rhythm of the night. It circles once, then settles, its eyes fixed upward toward the glittering heavens. The owl, the stars, the travelers, all exist together in the same quiet, all held in the gentle stillness of this Anatolian night. The stars shift imperceptibly as hours pass. Time moves differently here, measured not by sun or clock, but by the subtle rotation of constellations, the quiet ebb of the fountain, and the soft breathing of those who sleep below. Even the mountains on the horizon fade into shadows, their peaks touching the sky in silhouette, a reminder of the land that stretches far beyond the walls. You lie on your mat, blanket tucked around your shoulders, eyes tracing the delicate pattern of lights above. Each star feels like a promise, a whisper of guidance, a reminder that the world is vast, yet gentle, and that even the smallest traveler is connected to something infinite. The night deepens further. The stars seem to pulse softly, and your breath slows in harmony. Thoughts drift like clouds across a silver sky. Images of distant lands and distant times blending with the warm comfort of the courtyard below. The torches flicker once, twice, then steady again, mirroring the calm rhythm of your heart. And as sleep comes closer, the stars remain above, constant and unwavering. They watch over Anatolia, over the Caravanserai, over travelers who wander in dreams, and over you, nestled in the embrace of night. In their light, you feel both small and infinite, safe and free, held in the quiet wonder of a world asleep yet awake. The courtyard sleeps beneath the stars, but within the minds of travelers, the world stretches far beyond the walls. Eyes closed, blankets pulled close, hearts and thoughts drift across deserts, rivers and mountains, to cities alive with color, scent, and sound. In dreams, Damascus awakens first, its streets wind like silver threads woven between tall, sun-baked buildings. Merchants call softly from their stalls, offering spices that perfume the air. Cardamom, cinnamon, clove. Fabrics in every hue ripple in imagined breezes, and fountains glisten in courtyards like jewels. The travelers can almost hear the laughter of children, chasing stray cats across cobbled alleys, and the gentle strum of a lute from a nearby doorway. From Damascus, minds wander southward to Cairo, along the banks of the Nile. The river flows endlessly, carrying boats with sails bright as clouds at dawn. Minarets rise in quiet grandeur, their shadows stretching over bustling markets. Dates, figs, and fragrant breads fill the air, and a soft call from a muezzin drifts on the wind, blending with the distant splash of oars against water. Here, too, travelers walk unseen streets, feet light on sun-warmed stone, hearts carried by curiosity and wonder. Farther east, Samarkand beckons. Its domes shine like polished turquoise, intricate mosaics catching the moonlight of the mind. Silk roads converge here, bringing traders from lands distant and near. Caravans of camels move steadily, their bells jingling softly in rhythm with the desert wind. In dream, travelers pass beneath arches adorned with calligraphy, each stroke a story, each pattern a memory of countless hands who built the city. Though these cities are distant, their presence feels immediate. The mind moves freely between them, drifting across continents in quiet reverence. Travelers imagine themselves sipping sweet tea in Damascus, listening to the gentle murmur of Cairo's streets, and feeling the warmth of Samarkand's sun-baked walls. Each city offers a story, each one a gentle embrace, and each becomes a companion in the silent night. The stars above Anatolia seem to guide the way, connecting dreamer to dreamer, city to city, past to present. Constellations stretch overhead, mirroring the roads of imagination below. The mind's eye sees the mountains of Anatolia fading behind, giving way to deserts, rivers, and bustling marketplaces. Even in sleep there is movement, a quiet journey through time and space. The fountain in the courtyard murmurs softly, its water reflecting torchlight and moonlight, and somehow the sound blends with the rhythm of distant streets. A child dreams of Cairo's bazaars, hearing bells and songs as if they were part of the courtyard itself. An elder dreams of Samarkand, feeling the weight of history beneath his fingertips, touching walls that no longer exist, but live vividly in memory. Each dream is private, yet connected through the gentle, shared pulse of the night. The air carries the faint scent of herbs and smoke, but in dream it transforms, becoming the perfume of jasmine in Damascus, the spice of cinnamon in Cairo, the faint earthiness of Samarkand's markets. Each aroma drifts softly, pulling travelers deeper into visions that are vivid yet serene, vivid yet calm enough for sleep to descend. A soft breeze stirs blankets and robes, as if the night itself carries travelers along. The stars above remain steady, a silent map for wandering minds. Even the watchman at the gate, vigilant yet calm, feels the pull of distant lands in the quiet moments between steps. The courtyard is still, yet the world beyond is alive, a gentle, dreamlike hum that flows quietly into hearts and minds. In these dreams, travelers move freely. No gate is too high, no desert too vast, no river too wide. They walk the streets of ancient cities, touch walls built centuries ago, listen to music played on instruments now forgotten. Each step feels weightless, each sight softened by the quiet magic of night. And as sleep deepens, dreams blend with memory, blurring the line between reality and imagination. Travelers feel the roads of Damascus, Cairo, and Samarkand merge into the pathways of Anatolia, folding distant cities into the courtyard where they rest. The world feels vast, yet intimate, safe, and waiting patiently for morning. You lie on your mat, blanket drawn close, eyes closed in dream. Your breath slows, heart softens, and the distant cities, though unseen, remain near in memory and imagination. The stars above, the watchful guards, the quiet courtyard, all cradle you gently as your mind drifts across continents and the gentle night carries you forward. Though most of the caravanserai sleeps, a few travelers remain awake, gathered near the faint glow of embers and lanterns. Their voices are soft, low as if afraid to disturb the gentle night, yet their words carry far in the stillness, telling tales that ripple across stone and shadow. Stories are the heart of travel. They carry memories of distant lands, of roads and deserts, rivers and mountains, and of people met along the way. Each story is a bridge, connecting the teller to those who listen, even if only in the imagination, even if only for a night. A merchant begins with a tale of the Silk Road. He speaks of caravans stretching across deserts, of camels trudging through sand like slow-moving clouds, and of nights beneath stars much like these. His hands move gently as he gestures, tracing the shapes of mountains, rivers, and cities in the air. Those who listen lean forward, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the embers. Another traveler adds her own tale. She recalls a storm that struck while crossing Anatolian hills, rain pounding the earth, wind whistling through the trees. She tells of finding refuge in a small village, where strangers welcomed her with warm bread and tea. Her voice is steady, and the listeners close their eyes, feeling the wind on their faces, hearing the rain as if it falls again now. A child half asleep beneath a blanket smiles in dreams at the story of a clever fox outwitting hunters in a forest far away. Laughter, soft and hushed, drifts through the courtyard, blending with the crackle of embers and the trickle of the fountain. Even the walls seem to lean in, listening to the tales carried by voices gentle as the night. One story tells of distant cities, Samarkand, Cairo, Damascus, and the treasures found there: spices, fabrics, metals, and perfumes, each object with a story of its own. The storyteller's words paint images of bustling markets, of merchants haggling softly, of children weaving through the crowds, their laughter bright against the scent of saffron and citrus. Another voice speaks of desert nights, where the moon rises full and silver, casting long shadows across dunes that ripple like waves. He tells of travelers guided by stars, their fires flickering far in the distance, and of the quiet companionship found in shared journeys across empty sands. The listeners sigh softly, sensing the vastness of the world beyond the courtyard walls. A woman speaks next, her words a gentle hum, telling of forests in spring, where rivers wind among moss-covered stones, and the air smells of wildflowers and earth. She describes birds with feathers bright as sunlight, and deer that move silently among the trees. The listeners imagine themselves walking there, feet soft on grass, hearts quiet, breathing in the calm of a world untouched by haste. The embers crackle gently, sending soft sparks into the night air. Lanterns sway with a breeze that carries whispers, and shadows twist softly across the stone. The courtyard becomes a vessel for imagination, holding stories like water in a cup, allowing each tale to drift, mingle, and settle. Even the watchmen, walking their silent rounds, pause briefly to hear the low murmur of voices. Their steps slow, their attention caught by the rhythm of storytelling, the magic of memories and imagination blending into the stillness of the night. Some stories are funny, and hushed laughter ripples through blankets and mats. Others are quiet and wistful, leaving the listeners with a soft ache, a longing for places they may never see, and a gentle gratitude for the journey that brought them here. Each tale, no matter its shape, offers comfort, connection, and wonder. The stars above continue their silent watch. Each twinkle seems to echo the stories below, linking travelers' dreams to the far reaches of the sky. The courtyard listens patiently, absorbing every word, every pause, every soft laugh or sigh. It is a world of shadows and light, of voices and silence, all moving together in quiet harmony. A traveler finally yawns and nestles back on his mat, eyes closing as another story drifts softly into dreams. The child smiles in sleep, the fox still clever in the shadows of her mind. The lanterns sway, the embers glow faintly, and the courtyard breathes in the gentle rhythm of rest. In the quiet, you too feel the magic of these shared tales, even if you are not the teller or the listener. The words drift through your mind, painting distant lands and moments soft enough for sleep to find you. The courtyard holds these stories like treasures, careful, protective, eternal. And as the night stretches on, voices slow, then fade into whispers, then into silence. The stories remain etched into memory, woven into the quiet heartbeat of the Caravanserai, and carried gently into the dreams of all who rest here. The courtyard breathes in quiet. Lanterns sway faintly in the evening breeze, their light tracing soft patterns on stone and arch. The world has slowed to a whisper, and every sound feels measured, deliberate, a gentle pulse within the stillness of the night. Travelers lie upon mats and blankets, their bodies stretched and relaxed, eyes closed or heavy with sleep. Even those who had spoken earlier now rest in the hush, the echoes of tales lingering in their minds. The courtyard itself seems to sigh, absorbing the stories, holding them gently, until tomorrow brings new voices, new life. The fountain ripples softly, its waters a lullaby in gentle motion. The sound mingles with distant birds settling in the eaves, the faint creak of wooden beams, and the whisper of night wind through arches. Each noise is delicate, purposeful, a quiet rhythm that carries travelers deeper into rest. Shadows stretch across the courtyard, shapes bending slowly as if in a dance with the lantern light. They are long and softened, curved over steps and walls, arching gently like the arms of the night itself. No movement is sudden. No sound disturbs the careful balance of breath, water, and shadow. The watchmen pace softly, their footsteps muted against stone. They do not hurry. Their presence is a gentle heartbeat, a quiet assurance that the courtyard remains safe. Every creak of wood, every ripple of water, is part of the pattern they maintain, unseen yet vital. A child rolls slightly beneath a blanket, stirring but not waking. Her dreams move freely, carrying her across distant lands, through streets lined with colors and spices, and into forests soft with moss and shadow. Even in movement, the stillness of the night holds her close. The air carries faint scents of herbs and smoke, reminders of meals eaten hours before. They drift slowly through the arches, gentle and soft, almost like whispered words of comfort. A distant lantern flickers, its glow warming a corner of the courtyard, then settles, steady once more. In these moments, time seems suspended. Minutes stretch and blend into hours, measured only by the soft rise and fall of breath, the trickle of water, and the subtle swaying of lantern light. The world beyond the walls is distant, and here, within this gentle enclosure, all is calm, held in perfect equilibrium. The quiet invites reflection. Travelers dream not only of faraway lands, but of the paths that brought them here, of the people they met, of roads traveled under sun and moon. Even those who do not speak carry thoughts that drift like soft shadows, folding into the peaceful rhythm of the courtyard. A small flame flares gently from an ember's last glow, then dies back into warmth. It leaves behind a faint scent of cedar and ash, an aroma that mingles with the night air and draws travelers deeper into the comfort of rest. The courtyard has become a sanctuary, its silence as tangible as stone and air, cradling each sleeper with gentle, invisible hands. Above, the stars continue their silent watch. Their light spills across the walls, filling the arches with a subtle shimmer, a reminder of the vastness beyond the courtyard and of the quiet constancy of the universe. Even in their distance, they connect all travelers, past and present, here and elsewhere, in a shared awareness of night and rest. A soft breeze drifts through the open archways, ruffling blankets and cloaks, touching faces, and carrying the faint hum of distant city streets in imagination. The courtyard listens patiently, absorbing every gentle sound, every subtle movement, until the night is a tapestry of serenity. Your own breath slows, matching the rhythm of the courtyard. Eyes grow heavy. Thoughts drift in soft currents. Images and memories moving gently together. The waters trickle, the lanterns sway, the whisper of wind. All carry you into the heart of deep, quiet sleep. Here, in the stillness, the Caravanserai itself seems alive. It breathes with the sleepers, holds their dreams tenderly, and stands as a haven of calm amidst a wide and restless world. The night stretches endlessly, a seamless, comforting expanse where all who rest are safe, cradled in shadows, light, and gentle vigilance. And as you sink further into sleep, the courtyard, the stars, and the watchful presence of night, the courtyard has grown stiller than ever. Even the faint rustle of blankets seems to pause, and the last embers of the brazier glow softly, casting a gentle, amber warmth across stone and arch. It is the hour when the night feels most complete, when every shadow, every sound, every breath moves in quiet harmony. The fountain trickles in measured rhythm, its waters catching the faint light, silvering the edges of stones. A lantern swings slowly, its glow gentle as a sigh, and the watchmen move quietly along their rounds, their steps soft, almost imperceptible. Even the wind seems to whisper rather than move, stirring only enough to remind the world that it is present. The travelers are fully asleep now. A child curls beneath a blanket, her face relaxed in dreams of faraway streets. A merchant lies with his hands folded across his chest, visions of caravans and distant markets lingering in his mind. An elder rests near the fountain, listening perhaps only in subconscious memory to the quiet symphony of water, stone, and night air. The shadows grow long and soft, blending one into another. Arches, walls, and mats lose distinction, becoming part of a seamless tapestry of rest. The flicker of torchlight is steady, slow, like a heartbeat measured in patience and care. The courtyard itself seems to breathe in harmony with the sleepers, in and out, deep, gentle, eternal. The stars above Anatolia shimmer faintly, their light spilling across the courtyard in delicate silver threads. Constellations trace invisible maps, guiding dreamers across imagined deserts, rivers, and mountains. Though distant, their light feels close, a soft connection between the travelers and the infinite sky. It is the hour when the world feels both vast and intimate, and every soul in the courtyard senses the quiet balance of being. A watchman pauses near the gate. He leans lightly on the wood, listening to the soft chorus of night sounds, the fountain's gentle murmur, the low sigh of wind, the occasional stir of an animal in the stables. His presence is steady, unassuming, a silent assurance that all is safe, that the world outside remains far and separate, and that within the walls no harm may come. The courtyard holds countless stories. Stories of travelers who arrived wary and hopeful, of merchants who carried treasures across deserts and mountains, of families who rested beneath the arches for a single night. In the midnight hour, these stories seem to mingle, folding into the soft stillness like whispers drifting across stone. They are remembered without words, preserved in the quiet rhythm of the night. The scent of herbs and faint smoke lingers in the air, an invisible comfort wrapped around every sleeper. It mingles with the cool touch of stone, the faint warmth of lanterns, and the softness of blankets and robes. Even the smallest detail, a knot in a rope, a fold in fabric, the curve of an arch, seems alive with the calm presence of care. The night deepens further. Time becomes immeasurable, marked only by the slow drift of stars, the soft pulse of breath, the faint trickle of water. It is a sacred, suspended moment, when all travelers share the same quiet heartbeat, each pulse aligned with the steady rhythm of the courtyard itself. Your own body relaxes fully. Your breath slows, matching the gentle flow of the fountain. Your mind drifts lightly, walking along the quiet streets of dreams, wandering through distant lands without fear or hurry. The lanterns glow softly, the watchman's steps are barely audible, and the shadows fold gently around your resting form. In this hour there is no urgency, no worry, no sound of the world beyond. There is only the courtyard, the stars above, the faint ember glow, and the slow, deliberate rhythm of night. It is the moment when everything aligns, stone, water, flame, air, and dream, and you are held tenderly within it. Even as the hours pass silently, nothing is rushed. The night holds its breath, and you sink deeper into rest, cradled by the harmony of the Caravanserai. All is secure, all is gentle, all is complete. And as the midnight hour stretches to its fullest, you feel the profound peace of the world asleep, the soft pulse of life continuing in hidden rhythms, and the quiet, unwavering presence of those who guard, guide, and protect. The night is endless yet intimate. It is a sanctuary of calm, carrying you gently into dreams and preparing you for the first light of dawn. The Caravanserai rests quietly beneath the night sky, its walls strong, arches steady, and gates unwavering. Within these walls, travelers have found a place apart from the world, a space that holds both rest and protection, where the weight of journeys fades and the heart may breathe freely. Each stone in the courtyard tells a story, not of battles or conquest, but of shelter and care. It remembers travelers arriving weary, their camels laden with goods, their hands worn from days under sun and wind. It remembers nights filled with quiet conversation, stories shared beside glowing embers, and the soft murmur of water in the fountain. The courtyard cradles sleepers gently. Blankets line neatly around resting forms, the soft rustle of fabric blending with the faint trickle of the fountain. Lanterns cast a calm, golden glow, their light steady, warm, and unhurried. Shadows bend in quiet patterns, folding like soft hands around the mats, holding travelers in the invisible embrace of safety. Beyond the walls, the world continues its endless motion. Deserts stretch endlessly, mountains rise in distant silhouettes, and winds carry dust and stories across the land. Yet inside, time seems to pause. Here under arches and stars, every traveler is afforded peace, every sleeper cradled in the calm of a timeless sanctuary. A merchant shifts slightly on his mat, dreaming of distant markets and familiar streets. The watchman stands quietly at the gate, his lantern glowing softly, a reminder that the world outside will remain distant for now. The air carries faint scents, herbs, embers, and the subtle warmth of stone, a quiet reassurance that all is as it should be. The concept of shelter extends beyond the physical walls. It is a sanctuary of mind and spirit, as well as body. Here travelers find safety not only from the elements, but from the uncertainty of the road, the loneliness of long journeys, and the restless worries that accompany the unknown. The Caravanserai holds them in a soft, steady embrace, a pause, a breath, a moment to restore. Even the smallest details contribute to this sense of care. The slight incline of a stone floor, the careful placement of mats and blankets, the gentle flicker of lantern light across polished surfaces, all speak quietly of attention and intention. Every element is part of the architecture of reassurance, a design born not merely of function, but of understanding the human need for peace. Above, the stars remain constant. Their steady presence mirrors the security of the walls below. They are silent sentinels, witnesses to centuries of travelers who have arrived, rested, and departed. They remind all who look upward that, no matter how far the journey, there is always a place to find refuge, a place where the world softens and the heart may rest. A gentle wind moves through the arches, stirring fabrics and brushing across faces. It carries the faint hum of distant night sounds, but within the courtyard, all is measured and gentle. Even the shadows seem protective, bending and folding in patterns that cradle rather than conceal. The entire space, stone, water, flame, and air, works together to nurture a feeling of calm. The sense of shelter is shared quietly among all who sleep here. It is an invisible bond, connecting travelers to one another, to the watchmen, to the merchants, and even to those who arrived before. Every mat, every blanket, every glowing lantern is part of this unseen web of care, a reminder that the world is not always harsh, and that kindness and safety endure through time. You lie on your mat, blanket tucked close around your shoulders, breathing in the warmth of the stone and the night air. Your mind drifts easily, supported by the knowledge that here, you are safe. held gently within the walls of the Caravanserai and cradled by the quiet rhythm of the courtyard. The fountain's trickle, the flicker of embers, the gentle sway of lanterns, and the distant shimmer of stars above all work together to create a sanctuary not only of stone, but of spirit. Here every traveler, no matter how far their journey, finds the reassurance of home, even if only for a single night. And as sleep draws deeper, the concept of safety extends into dreams. The road ahead may be long, the journey uncertain, but tonight, in this quiet refuge, all is well. The walls, the watchmen, the firelight, and the night itself hold every heart in gentle care. The first light of morning seeps softly over the horizon, painting the courtyard in delicate shades of gold and rose. Shadows retreat from arches and walls, and the quiet hum of night gives way to the gentle stirrings of a new day. The air is crisp, carrying the faint scent of dew on stone, and the soft warmth of sun just waking the land. Travelers begin to stretch, rising slowly from mats and blankets, their movements careful, savoring the last remnants of sleep. The watchman steps away from the gate, his lantern now unneeded, as sunlight spills across the threshold, welcoming the world beyond. The fountain glimmers in the dawn, its waters reflecting the soft light like scattered jewels. Birds stir in the eaves, their songs tentative at first, then growing brighter as the sun rises. The courtyard breathes with life again, yet retains the calm of night's lingering embrace. Merchants begin to unwrap their stalls, lifting shutters, shaking out fabrics, and arranging treasures with the precision of habit and care. Spices scent the air once more, mixing with the aroma of fresh bread and morning tea. The courtyard hums softly with preparation, not hurried, but deliberate, each action a continuation of the safety and warmth of the night. Travelers step lightly on the cobblestones, their eyes lifted to the soft dawn sky. They carry the peace of the night with them, even as the world beyond the walls begins to stir. Stories dreamed and told linger in their minds, memories of distant cities, shared tales, and quiet moments of reflection. They move with the calm assurance of hearts refreshed. The Caravanserai itself seems to awaken, its stones warming under the gentle sun, arches and walls glowing softly, and lanterns flickering once more in early light. Every corner, every pathway echoes with the quiet memory of the night that passed, a reminder of rest, care, and the gentle constancy of shelter. In the distance, the mountains of Anatolia stand clear, their peaks catching the first rays of morning. The sky above shifts from rose to soft blue, clouds drifting lazily like dreams. Travelers pause to take in the view, a moment of quiet gratitude for safety, for warmth, for the promise of a new day. The watchmen walk slowly among the sleepers, now preparing for the day ahead. Their presence is steady grounding, a bridge between the quiet of night and the energy of morning. Even the fountain seems to murmur approval, its waters shimmering with anticipation, welcoming the return of life to the courtyard. Children stretch and yawn, rubbing sleepy eyes, and the merchants' voices mingle softly with birdsong. The scents of fresh herbs, baked goods, and morning fires blend with the lingering coolness of dawn, creating an atmosphere of gentle vitality, the world slowly moving into balance once more. From distant roads, travelers approach again, drawn by the promise of rest and the familiarity of stone walls. The Caravanserai opens its arms to each arrival, welcoming them into the cycle of journey, shelter, and sleep. The rhythm of life here is enduring, a testament to the constancy of care across countless nights and mornings. You rise slowly from your mat, taking in the first light, feeling the warmth of the courtyard stones beneath your hands. Memories of the night remain, a flicker of lantern, a whisper of stories, the stars over Anatolia, the soft murmur of the fountain. These moments linger in your chest, a gentle assurance that the world holds spaces of calm, even amid the vastness beyond. The day stretches ahead, full of possibilities and roads waiting to be walked. Yet the quiet of the night, the presence of the Caravanserai, remains with you, tucked like a secret inside your mind. Every step you take carries a sense of grounding, a connection to the gentle pulse of stones, water, and shelter. The courtyard glows fully now, alive with light, color, and movement. Merchants attend to their stalls, travelers prepare to depart or continue their journey, and the watchmen guide the rhythm of morning with calm authority. Yet beneath all this activity lies the memory of night, the peace, the stories, the stars, the quiet moments that held the hearts of all who slept here. And as you step toward the gate, feeling the first warmth of sun on your face, you carry a quiet gratitude for the sanctuary you've known, a gentle reminder of rest, of care, and of safety. The Caravanserai stands behind you, steadfast, ready to hold others as it held you through night and dawn, through shadow and light. And so the cycle continues. The stones, the arches, the fountain, the lanterns all remain constant, cradling travelers in their gentle embrace, welcoming each new day with the same quiet strength that carried the night.